Welcome to the Pathworks overview of photo-digitising. We've opened the application, we're going to select Auto Center, up to background, and we're going to import an image. In this case we've got an image of a pattern piece that was placed on a whiteboard with magnets, just a JPEG photo. The first thing we're going to do is set a scale for this. So on the whiteboard we've got a couple of marks and taken a measurement, and we know that between those two text marks it's 1465 millimeters. So we will position the rubber bands on the lines, and that will help the software to scale the pattern piece. So once we're happy with that, we can zoom in and out using the mouse scroll wheel. We will then enter the known reference measurement, in this case 1465 millimeters. Click OK, and we're ready to start digitizing our pattern piece. So we start a segment and we add a point. Now it's as simple as just clicking around the outside of the shape to create the pattern piece. So if you can click a mouse, you can photo-digitize. So we will start clicking around the shape, and as you can see, as we click around the shape with the mouse, the photo image is being moved by the software, which makes the process a lot easier. Now you can zoom in into very, very fine detail. So a high megapixel resolution camera is always a good idea. What I like to do is get the shape in, and then I go back and make any little alterations. Often if you're digitizing from a physical marker, there are imperfections in the marker that you would like to correct, and this is a good time to do that. So we whip around, get the shape in. As you get a bit of practice, you get quite fast at this. So now we will click close the segment, and that's the outside of this pattern piece digitized. We'll then start a new segment, and we'll start on the internal cutout of this piece. The process is exactly the same. On a radius, it's worth adding a few extra points, and that helps create a nice smooth curve. As you'll see, when we finish this, we'll edit the piece and smooth out some of the curves using the curve tool. So we move our way around the piece. Those points could be further apart, a few less points. It makes it much quicker. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll highlight a few points, and we'll use the various tools to help us fine-tune the shape. So in this case we've selected those points on that curve, gone up to the toggle curve tool, and as you can see, those points have moved from red to green, green being curve, red being straight points. We can change the points individually by just clicking on them, or we can highlight a group of them as you've seen. Okay, that's the last few changed. So now we use the notching tool to create our notches to assist in the sewing process. It's simply a matter of selecting the tool and toggling between straight internal, straight external, V external, V internal. So as you can see here, we're using V internal notches on this pattern. Work our way around the piece, creating all our notches. This is just another way to move from physical markers to digital marker without necessarily having to learn how to redraw the piece with the CAD system. So now we're using the pen tool or the marker tool on the cutting machine and creating a mark on the pattern piece to help the sewing ladies position the piece of foam on the piece. Now we're setting the text for the piece, and this helps to identify the piece, which helps the machine operator. As you can imagine, you might have several pieces in one nest, so being able to identify them on screen is a handy thing. That could be set to anything at all. It could have a part number or a customer name. Okay, we're going to clear the background image, and that's it. That pattern is now digitized, and we can now edit that piece, make any slight adjustments to that, move a few points, add drill points, pattern match points. In this case, we're just going to toggle through and check what's cut lines and what are pen lines. The cut lines are black, the pen lines are blue, the straight points are red, and the curve points are green. I'm going to move that piece to the 0xy position, and that now is finished and ready to be saved as a cut file. So we've moved from a physical marker to a photograph to a digital marker. No more finding that piece and marking out each time you want to cut that piece. You simply open the file and cut it, and there you go. And that's a brief overview of photo digitizing. We can teach someone to do that in about 10 or 15 minutes. Thank you.